The content in this magazine could contain references of topics and difficult subject matter that may be triggering. Please honor yourself, inner knowing, and proceed with whatever help or guidance you feel is intuitively aligned. Welcome to Sovereign Magazine Podcast. I'm Nicole George, CEO and founder of Sovereign. I'm so happy you are here. We are the magazine, podcast, and community guiding 5 million women to their sovereign selves. From heart-led conversations to magical meditations, our inspiring guests will show you how they can help you step into your sovereign self. Are you ready to listen to your inner voice and step into your power? Then keep listening to hear all of the intuitive messages meant for you today. Hello. Today I have the privilege of reconnecting with Terra Dawn, one of our amazing contributors. She is a life strategist and business owner who helps women step into their power in two very special ways: through building heart-centered, joy-filled businesses and through deep healing work that reconnects them with their inner child. She blends her background in human services and her own healing journey, and she also guides them from breaking free from self-abandonment, helps them reclaim their worth, and then she also guides them to trusting life's timing, which many of us don't do. Her mission is simple yet very powerful: to help women create aligned businesses, soulful relationships, and richly fulfilling lives. Welcome back, Tara.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited that we are exploring I am sovereign, which sovereign was your word for this year. So how serendipitous is that? Oh my gosh, it just warms my heart. You wrote an article called Reclaiming the Throne of Your Life, where you really share your very intimate journey with this word of sovereign or sovereignty. And it became the theme that really propelled not only your personal situation, but a spiritual awakening about how becoming sovereign has guided you through very unexpected transitions, not only in your life, but in work, relationships, and your purpose. So for those who haven't read your article yet, perhaps share a little bit more about it or why you wrote it.
Why I wrote it: I am a survivor of domestic violence, and the last 6 years, the opposite of sovereignty. Everything was micromanaged, and I really gave my power away in a lot of ways because I didn't know I could hold my power. I didn't know I could have my power. Many of us are raised that we have a job, we have a duty, and as a woman or as a mother or as a spouse, we have this subset of roles. And now I know that a lot of this was projection. A lot of this was me not knowing that my power was always within it. I think of The Wizard of Oz and the Yellow Brick Road and Dorothy in her red shoes. And funny, a whole nother story. There was a thing that I attended 16 years ago, and we were given a song, and the song talked about the red shoes, basically about bringing your power back. 3 taps of the heels, and I find my way home. When I saw what this was the theme, I was like all over it because I choose a word every year. I've been doing it for 12 years, and this was my word. There was just no other word that was fitting. The alignment has been so beautiful, from Sovereign Magazine coming into my life and the role that it has played in my growth and development in business and in personal, and gaining so many beautiful colleagues through this space. There's just so many pieces, and sovereign is really about being unshaken by the external validation, that we can have collaborations and we can have partnerships and still be anchored within. And we are very quick to give our power away through our projections, through our reflections, through the blaming, the shaming, all of the things. And actually, I even had an instance of that yesterday with a prospect. It was apparently my fault. She booked the day that didn't work for her. That's not my deal. So when you're ready and you're ready to take it back, your power, let me know, was literally the message that I delivered. So when we look at reclaiming our life, we look at getting reconnected. It's owning the accountability of taking our power back.
When was that exact moment, if you're willing to share, where you realized that you were in these misaligned relationships? You had lost your sovereignty, given up your control. What was that moment like?
Every time I gained a little bit more of my own sovereignty coming out of those relations, it was a moment of screw this. Like, who the hell do they think they are? As a single parent, when I looked at the financials of it, and that was usually the carrot that was being dangled over my head, I can do this all by myself. And I think this speaks to a lot of women. They realize that financially that they can do this on their own because we're bringing the whole freaking table. We're not just what we bring to the table, we're bringing the whole freaking table. And when we realize we can continue to provide the table and not have double the laundry, double the headache, double the cooking, double the stuff, this is when we're leaving our relationships. And I think this speaks to a bigger issue. But for me, it was completely a screw this. I can financially support myself. The rest, I'll just figure it out.
So, for the woman who's like, oh, I don't know if I could financially support myself, what would you say to her in that moment of how she can slowly begin to claim her sovereignty?
I actually have a couple of clients that are in this right now. They have been stay-at-home wives, mothers for their whole life, and they have no career background. Like, they got married right out of high school type of deal. And my guidance has been in, okay, so let's take a look at our human design. What is our incarnation cross? What is coming up for you? What would you love to do? Like, before you got married, what was your dream? Because your dream maybe was being a housewife and this has all fallen apart. I don't know. So it's teaching them to dream again and teaching them to really lean into the what ifs in the dreamy side. We quit dreaming. We quit having the I wish I could because it was like, this is never going to happen. So if we have this circumstance that financial, and the other thing I'm going to say is that learn to lean on people that you know you can trust. Find your tribe is a big part of that because I didn't have a lot of those people. I was very self-reliant. So I consistently created jobs for myself. I'm extremely resourceful. And maybe it's awakening that gift within. Okay, what are your resources? We kind of sit in this space of helplessness, but we're not helpless. We're smart. We're intuitive. And it makes me think of like Reese Witherspoon doing an interview not that long ago. And she's like, I wanted to write movies that had female dominated roles because I was really tired of being the woman in a male written movie that had the woman turning to the man and saying, what do we do now? Because the reality is a woman will have 7 plans and 3 backup plans. And we are super resilient and we're super smart and we undermine ourselves and we evaluate or we underestimate how amazing we are. We do it for our kids every day, but we won't do it for ourselves. Right?
Yeah.
And so quit
Yeah.
underestimating yourself. You're more powerful than you realize.
Yeah. You talked about like that we all have gifts. So, do you think that it's a sort of remembering that we have our sovereignty?
1,000%. The more healing that we step into, even if it's super, super passive, the more we remember our power, the more we remember what our God-given gifts are. This is why I love human design. It kind of is the little bit of a cheat sheet into the insight of who we were designed to be. And then we have like a map, a body graph. The map is the visual that says that's what I'm headed towards and allowing that path to light up for us. That's why I love human design so much. But yeah, it's very much a remembering because we were lived through vicariously. We were like by our parents. I never got to go to college. You have to go to college, which I'm not denouncing college, but kind of like the big thing of my generation. Well, I never had this opportunity. Don't be so ungrateful. Take the opportunity. But it wasn't for me, right? And so this is a remembering of what we're put here for. It's a remembering of purpose. And that purpose is so powerful. But we think our purpose is being a mom and being a wife and being everything to everybody else, but we forgot what our purpose is within.
Yeah. Part of that remembering is beginning to write new chapters in our story. I don't want to say rewriting our story because the beginning of it has already been written. So it's like writing a new story from a place of sacred self-leadership versus survival, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we wouldn't want to rewrite stories. There's so many people. If you're looking to rewrite a story, you're living in regret. If you're living in regret, there's some sort of guilt or shame sitting there. Guilt and shame is going to sink you faster than anything else. And we can't rewrite the story, but we can start a new chapter with the lessons that we have gained in that period of time. Any day we can choose a new chapter. I could have closed the chapter on something last night and what I'm willing to tolerate and opened a new chapter with boundaries. It's very simple and they can be very minute. I think people think chapters and they think something really big and expansive. I see people write about chapters as in, like, this last year was a chapter. Well, no, there's a whole bunch of subsections and mini chapters within that.
Inside the Sovereign community, you'll find more than a social platform. You will find many private spaces led by women who walk the path with you, like Abby from Canada. Connect with her in her sacred space called Reclaimed and Rise. Step into the Maven Haven with Ebony from the UK, or join the Open Heart Collective with Bonnie from the US. These are just some of the soul sanctuaries curated by conscious women for conscious connection. Come find your space inside the Sovereign community today. I'm going to move us into our steps to our sovereign self, and I'm going to totally put you on the spot with this question. Okay. She has no idea what I'm going to ask because she likes to fly by the seat of her pants, and not pre-planned is her preference. And we do what I call individualized care here. We meet everybody where they're at instead of having a script. And so in this Steps to Your Sovereign Self segment, I'm going to be asking you a question from the point of view of a woman who really wants to choose herself and step into sovereignty. And I would love for you to give some tips or tricks or guidance on this question of how she can do this. So if she is ready to rise and is going to give herself a permission slip to do so, how can she do that?
I think the problem is to stop overthinking it. Giving yourself permission in itself. And so giving yourself permission to take a step. Giving yourself permission to take the step. So if I take myself back to in the beginning of my own steps to sovereign self, it was when I realized I deserved better, I chose better. That's a step. When I realized that I didn't want to live my life the way I was living and I chose the step towards self-development, that was a step. That was a big step. Nonetheless, it was a step. Every time you say no because your body is screaming no is a step. I think we overthink that, and the permission slips, kind of like the chapters, what we just talked about, they can be so minuscule. In this moment, I can give myself a permission slip to opt out of the thing that my body is just saying, I think our time is done here. Very simple, and I think we spend a lot of time overthinking it, thinking it needs to be this grandiose space, and it isn't. It's in the moment. And we actually grow and become better in every single moment that we step forward. I think people think that it's a big retreat or a big thing. Every moment that we choose a different step is a step closer to becoming a new person.
I love this so much because it seems so simple. And I've shared this before on other podcasts. I remember the distinct moment I decided to start listening to my body, myself, my intuition, because I really had dismissed it for over 40 years. And I was standing at the sink doing dishes, and my body and my intuition said to me, I just want to sit down for 15 minutes. And I said, okay, I'm going to go sit down for 15 minutes. That was the beginning for me. And then I tried it again and again. Anytime I got that little hit of something, like go lay down, close your eyes for 10 minutes, or no, don't go that way, go this way. I just started to listen to my intuition and work that muscle to remind myself that I can trust myself. And every time there'd be that validation back to me, you chose right. I love that you have made these steps for everyone today so simple because it doesn't have to be hard. It just starts with that one choice every time you do it.
And listening to your body, not dismissing it because the mind is taking over. We're not meant to make decisions from the mind. We're meant to make it from the body. And I think that's part of the remembering. And the overthinking, that's why I said, I think we're really overthinking this. It's a decision that is a visceral thought or even just a hint of an intuitive space of, I want to do this. And then our brain talks us out of it. And we need to stop talking ourselves out of the thing our body wants.
Yeah. Okay. So if you're ready to reclaim your sovereignty, you can connect with Terra in our community, community.sovereign-magazine.com. All of her details are in the show notes and ways you can work with her. She's absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me, as always.
Thanks for listening. I'll be back tomorrow with another soul-led entrepreneur here to help you step into your sovereign self. Subscribe to our magazine and podcast and join our global community for all the magic. Details to connect with today's guest or join the movement are in the show notes. And if you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review. It helps us reach our goal of guiding 5 million women to self-sovereignty.